the entire premise of Islam is blasphemy against Christianity because it says that Jesus Christ was never crucified, his body was swapped. And the only evidence they have that his body was swapped was because Muhammad said so. So, first up, after winning his third national title, Penn State's Aaron Brooks credited his success to his faith and made some additional statements that some people think proved to be problematic.
David, I know share a strong faith. How does that help you on a night like tonight?
It's everything. Christ's resurrection is everything. Not just his life, but his death and resurrection. You can only get that through him, the Holy Spirit only through him. No false prophets, no Muhammad, no anyone else. Only Jesus Christ himself.
No. Let's do that sketch. Let's move that sketch to Thursday, Matt.
Yeah, that shouldn't take long.
Write that down.
Yeah. Bold. Bold move from him. He could have just said, like, Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and ended it there. But you know what? I appreciate this.
Yeah.
And let's get into it a little bit. Everyone always gets so offended if you blaspheme against Muhammad, for example, if you call him a false prophet, or maybe you say he was wrong, or maybe you bring up the fact that he beat his 6-year-old wife, or sorry, he smacked her, but only creating bruises where you couldn't see them, and very likely only consummated when she was 9. And before that, he humped her thighs and called for the deaths of Jews and Christians as his final words. But even so much as perhaps drawing Muhammad, right, is considered blasphemy. But here's the thing. When people say, oh, calling Muhammad is blasphemy, there's no reason to do that and be offensive. I think some of the history is important here. The entire religion of Islam, and by the way, I'm not saying that you should go around and insult Muslims. Of course not.
No.
But what Muhammad said, and if you read the Quran, is blasphemy against the entire premise of Islam is blasphemy against Christianity because it says that Jesus Christ was never crucified, his body was swapped. And the only evidence they have that his body was swapped was because Muhammad said so. That's saying that Christians believe in a false incarnation of God, in a false son of God. Look, and we say, hey, that's fine. You go ahead and you believe it. Hell's real and it sucks. That's what Christians believe. But then if you say, hold on a second, Muhammad saying that Jesus isn't who he said he was is kind of blasphemous, and that makes him a false prophet, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, unacceptable. I love how you put unacceptable. It means that somebody's going to walk into your studios with a machine gun and mow everybody down because you did something like that. And if you think I'm being sarcastic, do you remember the Charlie Hebdo attack in France?
No.
No? You don't remember when they went?
Yes, of course I do.
Of course, right? No. I was like, what?
Sharpen up.
How
Wait,
dare
what
you?
happened?
Listen, we've been off a little while.
Yeah, I know. Not to mention when we pulled the old sketch of Bob Ross painting Muhammad. That was one that I didn't quite realize I'd have to have the FBI show up at my house.
Yeah, I tend to stay out of the line of fire. You, on the other hand, walk right into it, sir.
Yep.
So.
Well, just like those people who are upset by it walking into the line of hellfire.
That's fair as well.
But explain it to people who don't know. It is predicated. And by the way, the reason that there's so much anti-Semitism among Muslims is because they say the Jews lied about the Bible after the blessing of Abraham. So if your entire religion is the Jews lied about the Old Testament, and by the way, Christians lied about the New Testament, it was the followers who said that Jesus Christ was crucified, but he never actually was. His body was replaced, and he lived well into the old age until he died. Guess what? You are a false prophet, according to people who believe the teachings of Christ. If you're an atheist and you want to do the whole flying spaghetti monster thing because you're taking Humanities 101, that's fine. It's the thing to do. But my point here is Christians would of course believe that about Muhammad, just as Muslims believe that Jesus was not the Son of God. It should just be hey, tit for tat, we disagree.
Yeah.
But you can't condition the rest of society to play by your rules. We don't get to tell society, if you draw Jesus, we're going to blow you up. And then everyone says, well, you shouldn't have blown people up, but you shouldn't have drawn Jesus. No one does that. That's the issue.
Shouldn't you have prepared the food better? You knew he was going to smack you if you burned it again, right?
Exactly.
I mean, come on, lady.
I watched the menu.
No, it's exactly right. I hated this because this was how we got our start, right? I would talk about Islam when somebody would blow something up. You would have me on the radio show, or we would have the conversation with Imam Chowdhury, and I was teaching a class called the Christian's Response to Islam. And unfortunately, it was like every single week you're like, hey, another thing happened. Hey, another thing happened. Hey, another thing happened. It just kept happening, and the world's like, hey, if we just don't piss these guys off enough, maybe they'll leave us alone.
Right.
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
You have to fly in the face. What was the MMA fighter's name?
Benil Dariush.
In... What was it? Abu Dhabi?
Abu Dhabi.
and said that, like the brass balls that it takes to do that.
Yeah.
Right? That's the kind of stuff that you need, though. You can't cower, because then these people, I'm saying the terrorists out there, yes, those people will end up blowing stuff up.
Well, look, either no one's right or one of these two is right. That's just a fact, right? Either no one's right, you die and there's nothingness, which doesn't really bother me all that much. It sounds like a long nap. Okay? The only other religion that I've ever been concerned about, like if ever I doubt my faith, I don't care about Buddhism. I don't care about it. It's not hell. It's like nirvana. This is hell on earth. Oh, okay, whatever. But there's only one other person who says these were false prophets. If I get to the gates of heaven and I find out that it was Islam, I'll be like, you're bullshitting. No way. It's the only one that could have consequences if we're wrong. And I would say that if you look at historical context, all signs point to no. By the way, it's a live show Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Just set your bookmark, okay? Because notifications don't work. Can you bring that up? 10 a.m. Eastern. Just bring it up. You watch it. You tune in. Hit a bookmark, because you are not going to be able to get notifications, though they work on Rumble.
Rumble will, yes.
Rumble will,
Thank
but
God.
on YouTube.
It's
So there's a
weird.
time and a place, and that's by design. You don't need to be scrolling and passively consuming content all day.
No.
I grew up on Letterman. I grew up on Conan, and guess what? We used to tune in, watch something, and then move on. And that's why we make all the references publicly available. I've found that I've really had to limit my passive consumption of shit.
Seth Green.
Yes. So, all right. Have anything there on Islam? Are you just uncomfortable there, Pops?
No,
Crowder? You are quiet as
I'm
a church mouse.
that Gerald said sounded like Ilhan Omar. Some people did something.
I said those people referring to the terrorists. Not all Muslims, but the terrorists, yes, those people.
Yes.
Yeah,
willing
they don't
to
have
blow
irony in the
themselves
Middle East. If you suggest they're not peaceful, they'll kill your family.
Well, yeah.
It's true.
Yes.
And if you speak out against your husband, he'll beat you up.
Oh, that's a bad one.
Also, don't try and drive if you're a woman. So,
Oh, bad idea.
speaking of religions, a new Pew Research poll came out.
Oh, really?
And this one really surprised me. They released a recent poll asking which religion Americans view most favorably, and Judaism topped the list. Big time. Judaism topped the list in the United States for the most viewed favorably religion, in yet another example of why Americans don't trust polls. It should be noted that the margin of error on this poll was plus or minus 100%, because it was conducted by this guy. So that makes, Rabbi Pew Silverberg shits.
I have no Jewish names that I could possibly come up with to top.
Oh, Rasmussenstein.
How dare you?
Oh, Monmouthberg. Oh, Quinnipiac Silver.
You can't just add that to that.
I think Rasmussen is enough. No suffix required.
Oh, ABC Ipsos Steen.
Thal, Berg, Witz, and all the precious metals.
This is one. By the way, this is one of those
gold,
things.
Silver.
This is why you can't trust polls. Well, you're trying to sow mistrust in the institutions. Because they suck. Okay. We're talking about what? Your government? Sure. Okay. What? Your public education? All right. What? Your polls? Okay. Your media? I don't know which institution it is that we are supposed to trust at this point. But you know, with this poll, and by the way, I am not saying, of course, that you should view Jews unfavorably. But what I am saying is that because people are concerned of being spied on incessantly, they don't answer polls accurately. Kanye would have answered this poll favorably toward Jews. Because Jews are also the victims of the greatest amount of hate crimes. It's really tough when you juxtapose those two. That's the only point that I'm making here. This would be like if in Israel, Catholicism was the most favorably viewed religion.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, the people were like, favorable. Okay.
I have met actual anti-Semites, okay?
Yes.
I have met them. And Mormons were lower on the list than Islam.
That's hilarious to me, by the way.
That means
They're
that
not
if
going
you're
to blow you up, guys. They're just going to make you wear special underwear and give you your own planet.
Exactly.
It's not the worst.
It's almost a good deal.
Yeah.
Almost.
Jeez.
Get to bang a lot of chicks, depending on what sect you're in. The point is, worse than Islam, as far as if you're taking the negative qualities of the religion, if you were on a plane, that means you would rather have someone jump up, scream Allahu Akbar, and blow it up than ride up the center aisle on a bicycle? People are not answering these polls accurately, and this is why, just remember this when you go into the next election.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.